Hello, my name is Michael Powers. This is Off the Cuff episode 30. Never really thought we'd make it this far. Joining me
Way to
on
be
this,
optimistic.
hey, we've only ever made it to 25, like between 20 and 25 episodes, and then we've quit.
Yeah, but I'm carrying you all with my spirit and ingenuity.
Yeah,
Really? Ingenuity?
I
no,
can smell the bullshit already.
yeah,
It's crazy.
not really gonna go there with that one. That is Seansie Brown, everybody, who is still alive.
Thank you. But we
Uh,
haven't reached 1,000 followers yet, so
yeah. The other voice you've heard already is Art Danner,
Hi.
and Joe Reed was chuckling in the background.
Hello.
So we have some listener feedback.
Feedback.
I love feedback.
Yeah,
I like any kind of feeding.
I tried to stay out of the comment thread for as long as possible so that our numbers wouldn't overinflate the number of comments. Um and stayed out as long as I could, but then it kind of blew up and the people started talking amongst each other, which was awesome to see. Because up until this last week, everyone was kind of just posting their thoughts and then moving on to the next thing instead of having conversations with each other. Our question from episode 29 was dun, 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 dun. What game could Nintendo make that would get you to buy a Wii? Unfortunately, nobody really offered up any games that they could buy. The first comment we actually got on it was sorry. Let me back up here. Someone found
Very
Danner's comments
unprofessional.
about retards last week actually very funny. It was King of Kongs, and he said, he called Danner out for when you call someone retarded to me, that means they can't catch fire.
Yeah, that was good.
He said
I gotta admit that was amazing.
he said he seriously laughed his ass off at that joke. Effing awesome. Then he goes on to say, the only way I would buy a Wii U would be if they made a version of it that transformed into a PS4. Unfortunately, we didn't get that Trojan horse that, was really kind of hoping that the Wii U was. So, but yeah,
More like a dead horse, and they're beating
That was,
it.
I think it's the Wii U with the GoBot processor.
yeah. I don't know. Like everyone was just kind of like down on Nintendo, saying that it hasn't been good since the Super Nintendo or the N64. We did have Plato's Lament say that he was still a fan of Nintendo when the GameCube was out, which I think we've all stated that we actually like the GameCube as well.
Yeah,
Love the
Yep.
GameCube.
I have no problems with the GameCube,
Um,
but I think that was the last time it was really great.
yeah, I mean, but nobody called out like any one particular game. A resounding thing I think people kind of would like for the Wii U is well, Anna brought up the idea of being able to shoot space pirates, and then Plato's Lament followed up with effing up space pirates that will make him buy a Wii U.
My thing is, and I mentioned it on the comment thread, is I think it's really cute that Nintendo has this Year of the Luigi thing going on, but I'd much rather see the Year of Samus Aran.
Yep.
Yeah, Year of the Sidekick. Wow.
The year of coming in second place.
Yeah.
They can't even do that right.
Oh, they're gonna blow that by at least one position.
Super Film Fan 98 says that he hopes that the PS4 and the Xbox One will cause another price drop for the Wii U, so that he could either pick up a new one or one that was used. Yeah,
We all hope that.
I do, because I can't sell a repurchase of it to my wife at the moment. And as Danner pointed out on the forums, Pikmin 3 and The Wonderful 101, those are both games that I would actually like to play as well.
I haven't heard of the Wonderful 101.
Oh god, it's so beautiful. Think Pikmin with superheroes instead of Pikmin.
It looks pretty cool. I'll admit, it looks like a very
it's a
pretty
lot of-
game, very colorful.
It's pretty and it's just fun to play, and the controls are very intuitive, and it's a blast. I liked it.
I'm only interested in one superhero game coming up, and that's going to be Lego Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Plato's Lament goes on. He says, "I'd purchase a Wii U if it produced games that interest me, although he doesn't really say what those games would be, or at least had games worth mentioning. Based on what I've seen, they built that console out of a pile of old, tired garbage, and they continue to mask their lack of innovation with gimmicks." I think the Wii U is kind of it. When we did the console, we're still polling for the consoles, the 7th gen console awards, and I put the Wii U in there as well because it's basically the same hardware.
Yeah.
I feel like the Wii U is kind of like the GameCube of this generation, where it's the same hardware as what's available everywhere else. But I think Nintendo actually produced. I still think Nintendo produced better hardware with the Wii U than the Xbox 360. The problem is they don't have the developer support that the 360 or the PlayStation has, so you don't get to see that.
Yeah, no one's gonna risk making a game for that system when only how many people are like, even if everyone that owned a Wii U bought it, your exposure is what, 1 million?
Yeah, you're not gonna
If
get
that.
that. You're not gonna get that Wii U version of Resident Evil 4 that was amazing, like it was on the GameCube. I don't know, I thought the Wii U was a neat little machine. It has a
That's
lot
exactly what I think it is, though. That's what I thought about the Wii too. I'm like, well, that's cute. It's a cute little thing. It's fun. I'm sure the Wii U is fun to play, but
I was
never
excited
think
about
of Wii's as gaming systems.
And the thing is I was really excited about the Wii until, let's see, I could tell you exactly when I started becoming disappointed with the Wii, and it was when I was with Joe. The night the Wii came out, and I was super excited to play Red Steel, and all 4 of us got in a split screen mode, and we played it for literally 3 minutes, and it was so shitty. And I was just like, nope, I'm done. That's it. It's like, I just bought one of these, and I'm already incredibly disappointed with it.
So best game for that system came in the box. So
Yep.
Yeah.
It did.
Well,
And I had such high hopes for that system with first-person shooters. 'Cause I still think that control setup was way incredible with basically mouse aiming using the cursor and then the movement. Metroid Prime.
I don't think it's as accurate as mouse aiming still.
It was way better than anything we ever had on console, I think.
no.
I
don't
maybe
know.
if
I got really good.
maybe if I used Wii controllers for the last 10 years, maybe.
I got really good at the Metroid game.
Metroid just never felt good to me. I kept wanting to play it with a controller.
It's Metroid.
Could you plug a gamepad into that and play that?
No.
No.
It wouldn't have really worked. They were doing things with level design, with the new freedom of being able to point anywhere on the screen and not needing to hold a joystick to maintain anything above the horizon line. I mean, okay, yeah, this is hard to explain. With console shooters, you're limited on a design sense where you can place villains on the screen, because if you pull back on the joystick to look up, like airplane controls, to move your cursor up, and need to do a different function on the left joystick, it will move or pull that reticle away, so you can't actually aim like that at the same time. And the Wii allowed you to be looking one direction or walking one direction while aiming kind of where you were on a wide screen. And so they were putting enemies where you couldn't normally control your character to shoot them with a dual stick joy controller.
Well,
I don't think it would have worked.
I guess in all fairness, I never played Metroid Prime 3, but I did play Metroid Prime on the Wii, and that didn't feel right to me at all.
No,
because
you
needed
to play 3. 3 was nice on there.
I still have my the in the metal tin, the trilogy set. I still have that.
Worth a bloody fortune if that's shrink wrapped.
Nope, it's not.
It's
Mine
The
was a-
one game he has that's not.
What that one wasn't shrink wrapped, and I sold it for 70
I still wouldn't let it go for that.
when I bought it
What-
for 10.
Yeah,
What
okay.
price would it be to the point where you couldn't hold on to it?
I don't know. I have a hard time like selling my games because they've got some kind of sentimental value to them to me. Connor Murphy says, I own a Wii U. Well, my brother owns it, but I find it enjoyable. Is it anything to the level of the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One? No, but it doesn't try to be. I'm happy that Nintendo knows what it is and stays true to its identity. Some may see that as being static. I see that as being loyal to their fans. Then of course there was a small little argument going on between him and another guy, Walking Dread, calling him out for being a Nintendo fanboy, and Connor replied saying he was tired of being called a fanboy just because he doesn't hate something. It's like the term liberal. I don't know when it became a bad word to call someone a fanboy or a liberal, but it happened quick and in the dead of the night. Whatever, I don't care. I enjoy the system and I am not ashamed. I like the Wii U when I had it, man.
Yeah. I totally get what he's saying, that they're not trying to pander to the masses, and that's totally cool. Just being with our. The problem is we're in a time in games when if a game doesn't sell 5 to 10 million copies, it's considered a failure.
But it's not that. It's Nintendo doesn't have like I like Nintendo games. But the problem is I can't just have a Nintendo system because they're not
Yeah.
going to get,
That's what I'm saying, is that if they, in order for Nintendo to be competitive, they would have to make basically a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. They would have to turn themselves into something they're completely not.
I don't think that's it. It's that they whittled away their developer support. The third party support is just gone, and it's been gone for a very long time.
And the third party support that they have, they shouldn't want.
Yes, what were they thinking?
Turning into shovelware.
I
think Nintendo could release a system that was as powerful as the other systems and had an online component like the other systems, but still do what they want to do with motion controls or with gimmicky weird games and with their
they will,
bright-colored
but in
graphics,
5 years.
Well, it's too late now. They've lost 2 generations of hardcore gamers to that. I mean, I don't know why they decided to go that direction, and this is my measure for success on a Nintendo console. If they release a console and the other 2 systems release their consoles and the next Call of Duty comes out on all 3 systems at the same time, Nintendo will have made it. They'll be fine again. But every time they shoot themselves in the foot and make a port of a contemporary game not possible, they're never going to have the support that they used to.
Well, they got Black Ops 2 at the Wii U launch, and it did nothing.
Was it the same?
Yeah. It's the same.
No.
By that point, the install base was already on the other games.
Yeah,
on the other systems.
That still came out after the other versions of.
Well, because the Wii
2.
U came out after.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that people that want to play Black Ops 2 already had it. They're not going to buy it a second time.
But it's
not, and they would be buying a worse version.
I just don't think. I think that the problem is everyone's friends and their friends and everybody's on like the 360 or a PlayStation. Like Nintendo, you can't. I don't know how they get them back.
Well, you do it by releasing a system at launch with the other companies at the same time, and it's as powerful so that your third-party developers actually feel like putting the games out on the system at the same time. And then you do something really innovative that wins customers back from even considering a Microsoft or a Sony product to begin with, so that there's an install base.
But okay, now in theory, let's just if the Wii U would come out this fall and it had hardware on the same, hardware being the same thing. You were burned on the Wii, I think. I'm not sure, but would you really go and buy a Wii U over like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One?
Yes, because I don't care a lick about Microsoft's or Sony's first-party games.
See, but what? Okay, would you still go out and buy just a Wii U? Okay, knowing that none of your friends were going to have it, and you'd be playing all multiplayer games with no one you knew.
Well, I think that if there was something worthwhile on a Nintendo system again, and
Yeah.
some kind of gimmick that would entice you three to maybe buy it, probably buy it, eventually buy it. Yeah, I would, but I wouldn't buy it now as opposed to a PS4. No, because
The
and
only
and
way.
honestly,
Sorry.
out of the three of us, online gaming is the least important to me. I could do without it, and I wouldn't exactly miss much. Because I just like talk to you guys on the internet and phone and hang out with you like normal people do usually. Well, except for you, Sean, because you're in freaking New York. But
I'm sorry, I was born in a different state.
I know. Sorry. So that's my thing.
Well, I don't think the Wii U is a bad system. When I bought it, it was just I bought it when Nintendo was like, "We promised to have these games available by this time," and they missed every single one of them. And their public excuse was, "We didn't know making HD games was going to be this hard."
It's really hard, guys. The polygons, they're killing me.
That just makes it makes it sound like they exist in a vacuum by themselves and they don't pay attention to what other companies are doing. Whether that's like true or not, I don't know, but like that comment is just crazy because I remember at the beginning of this generation, everybody was complaining about how hard it was to make HD games. And now, 8 years later, some people still complain about how hard it is to make HD games, and stuff happens. But so yeah, it was a nice round of comments about the Nintendo stuff. I think, I mean, the most common thing that I heard in here was that people just want a Metroid game. And I think Metroid might be the most hardcore property that Nintendo could possibly have right now. And I only think that because Metroid Prime is a first-person shooter. And I think that makes that's like a big thing.
I don't even think you need to release it as a first-person shooter. I mean, there could be some other genre that it would work with. And I'm not saying they have to go back to side-scrolling, but...
No, they tried that with Other M. But that wasn't Nintendo, so...
Yeah, and...
They still let it out the door.
And I think because that went out the door and it got such reviews, it'll be a long time before Nintendo lets anybody touch another one of their properties like that. I hope. And I don't think they'll let Metroid out the door for a long time until people have forgotten about Other M.
Yeah, they tarnished the good... It was a really quick tarnish of the goodwill that they had earned from like the Game Boy Advance games and the GameCube games. I'd like to see another Star Fox. I think we said that on the last episode. I think Star Fox and Metroid are something that would, and not the Metroid, not the Star Fox, not like Star Fox Adventures, like classic Star Fox where you're in the R wing. I think that would get me to come up with reasons to buy a Wii U again. We're gonna take a break. And we will be back on the other side of this to talk about, well, probably either Grand Theft Auto 5 or we will talk about games that not games that we hate, but the worst games that we've played.
Pixels in the animation has now left the Mushroom Kingdom, paisans, to enter the realm of Hyrule in episodes 16 through 20 of PETA. Join TV's Mr. Neil and TFG1 Mike as they are going through the classic, and I'm actually have my fingers in the air and making air quotes when we say classic, Legend of Zelda the Animated Series. This time around, a special guest joins the guys for the Zelda reviews. It's the famed Ender from Radio Free Cybertron. And the Pullbag. So tune in and help us find the pixels in the animation, which you can find on iTunes and www.geekcastradio.com. Excuse us, listeners.
Wow, we got it in one take.
That was awesome.
One take Danner. Woo!
All right, we're back. Do you guys want to talk about GTA or do you want to talk about...
We could talk about how we couldn't really get into it.
How you
Like
couldn't
everybody
play
else.
GTA Online? Because they sold more copies of the game than they were anticipating, and they weren't expecting they weren't prepared for the servers. You think after the
they made the games?
You think after the first day they would have been like, "Oh shit, we should probably start upgrading the servers."
Yeah, I mean,
The thing is, they probably were.
okay. For me, I'm kind of I was comparing this to um SimCity. I was thinking about Grand Theft Auto Online in terms of, the SimCity that launched back in March to critical,
Wah, wah, wah.
yeah. And there isn't I'm not seeing as much rage on Twitter about Grand Theft Auto Online as I was about SimCity, and I think the reason for that is the obvious reason for that is Grand Theft Auto has an offline component that you can still play if the game doesn't work. Um,
I
However,
also, sorry.
what?
I was gonna say I haven't tried it yet, but when I was loading up GTA Online, I saw a part where it said play solo, and I'm wondering if that works no matter what the servers are doing.
I don't know. I
haven't
don't know.
checked it, though.
I tried let's see, I tried 5 times to get on today, and it on the 5th try I was able to get in. Now, in my experience, and this is truth, SimCity had its problems at launch with it being an always online game, and selling more copies than they thought they'd sell, and all this other stupid whatever you say in a PR when you screw up this badly. And I was able to play SimCity day one at work, over a tethered internet connection. I didn't have high speed internet or anything like that, and Grand Theft Auto Online just wasn't working. Like it every once in a while, like it would go in and it would say, we could not connect to Rockstar Cloud servers. Would you like to continue online without your character? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
So
without saves, right?
right. So I'd say okay, because I just want to get in and play it. And then it would go to this, like, select whatever character, select your player slot. So I did that, and then it would go and the little thing would spin and it says, we're sorry, we cannot connect to the servers right now. Would you like to go play the actual, the story mode? Fine. So then I just shut the game off, and I would come back like an hour later, and I would either get into the character creation thing and then try to load the game, and it would kick me back out to the story mode, or not. And then, I don't know, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, I tried it again for the 5th time, and I got in. The only problem is I set it up as a friend game. Because I thought maybe if I just set up as friends, then people can, like, if Joe signed on, he could just jump into my game. The problem is if you set up as a friend thing, it actually sits there when you do events. It actually sits there and waits for people to populate your game, which is kind of annoying. It's like,
Well, it
you're
does
right.
that. It does that anyways, even if you don't have it set up for friends.
So if you play solo, it does that.
Well, I haven't played solo yet, but I mean, I played an open thing where it wasn't just friends. It was just random people, and there's actually one thing. I happened to jump into a lobby where there was no one. I think it was like I lucked out and got in when the servers were having such issues, so no one just happened to pop into my little world. And there was one mission I couldn't do because it needed at least 2 players. It was in the introduction missions where it's like introducing you to playing these events versus other people, I think.
Oh, okay.
And since my world happened to have no one else, it wouldn't let me do it.
I mean, I'm interested to try it out. I'm just kind of bummed I wasn't able to actually play any of it. Have you guys had, I mean, probably similar experiences?
I don't think mine was as bad as yours, but I've definitely got kicked out a couple times.
Joe?
I have loaded in up until when I tried to get on at 7:30 last night. There are errors and I didn't get to see anything. I take that back. I got to the use your grandparents to generate your character thing. That was kind of interesting and neat. And then after that, it wouldn't find a game, couldn't find a host. I got in right before the show, and they introduced street racing. I walked inside the little blue circle and then was waiting for other people, and it was 10 minutes of that before nothing happened. And all right, it's time to go record a podcast, so let's go. And that was it.
Yep, that's about my experience too.
I actually was able to do that race. I won it because I'm a badass.
Yeah, that's been my experience with Grand Theft with GTA Online though. Is just it, and you get stuck in that loop where it's like looking for people and just stays there,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's no like way to cancel it or skip it if you don't have
Yes.
anyone
Yeah.
else there. It's and I don't know if maybe was it because it was searching for something or because that race that you were in, Joe, you actually end up just racing against the guy that drove you there. Um,
Huh.
if there's no one else.
I raced against him and like 3 other people.
Okay, well, I signed in as a friends only invite lobby thing, so I raced against him, and it was just it spun there, and then the menu popped up after a while. So I don't know, maybe it takes a while to pop. I don't know how fast the menus move because the whole thing just seems kind of slow to me, and that could be because they're having server issues. Um,
I could hear other people chatting, like live people, over that intro cinematic.
oh,
I think they were
Really?
racing, but I could hear them talking into their headsets.
hmm.
My problem was when I was trying to connect that just nothing seemed to happen with my system at all. It was like I didn't even have the game in there.
I was about to say.
That's Daniel
I,
being an ass.
He's so
I
fun.
I have nothing to add to this conversation.
Um,
Ooh, Best Buy's deal of the days.
okay. I guess we can move on. If no one else has anything else they want to say about GTA at all, we can move on to.
Still loving it.
Oh.
Can't wait to play online.
Yes, I'm very interested. I did notice one thing. I was playing yesterday, and it would load up fine. I'd get into a random world with random people, and I had a buddy who was playing, and he wasn't in my world. So I'm like, okay. So I go to join his, and it says that he's in a job. So I think that's just what they call missions online. I think they just call it jobs. Not sure. So it's like, would you like to join him in progress? I'm like, sir. And then it just went to like an overview of the city and loading for like 10 minutes.
Right.
So I'm like, huh. So backed out, did it, same thing again. But if I load into my own, totally fine. As soon as I try to join him, wah, wah.
Well, Mike, let's try to do it as friends tonight and see how that goes.
We can try that. I did do 2 more side quests in the game. In the
Ooh, which
actual off, I
ones?
did the first tow truck mission.
Wow, you're that far back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I drove. I went to play it the other day, and I was like, I did my thing where I'm going to drive around the entire island, and get the outline in as far as the expressway goes. Which was fine. That was fun to do. And
See,
then,
I prefer to leave those things because you're gonna do it anyways.
yeah, but I was trying to find a way to like get myself like sucked into what was going on. Like,
Did you at least drive on the opposite side of the road so it worked your driving skill up?
no, I did not.
Oh my god.
And then I did the tow truck mission, and then I did the first paparazzi mission.
Okay. The Beverly missions, yeah.
Yeah. And that was about it. I went, and when I was doing the going around the thing, I went to the pier with the Ferris wheel.
Okay. Did you ride the Ferris wheel?
I did. I rode the Ferris wheel.
I knew you would. I haven't yet, but I just knew as soon as something like Mike's gonna go on this thing.
I also rode the roller coaster.
I didn't do that either.
I watched Iron Man 1 the other day, and when he flies by after getting his Mach 2 suit out, he flies by that amusement park. I was so excited. I recognize that. I saw that in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Wow, Joe. Just wow. There are no words.
I don't know. I've just been kind of dinking around, waiting for GTA Online to become available, and I thought it was going to be next Tuesday or Wednesday.
It'll probably be next Tuesday or Wednesday before it'll actually work.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they have it going good by the weekend, because if not, then it's gonna crash hard.
no, okay. Let's. Can we just address the thing in the room with all this online like connectivity stuff, because I don't understand. I still don't understand how this happens, especially in this day and age. And I've had conversations with Jason, who actually works for an internet company, like a server hosting company, and some stuff like that. And it's kind of like they know their pre-order numbers, And it's kind of like, why does nobody? SimCity didn't do it, even though they can see their pre-order numbers, so they know how many they're going to sell, and they were an online-only game. Grand Theft Auto knows like how many people bought their game, and you could just assume that all those people are going to try and sign online at the same time. I
Why
don't.
don't they make their servers able to handle the minimum of how many people just pre-ordered?
Yeah, I don't understand why. And it's just, it kind of highlights the whole like Xbox One being always on kind of thing. It's like, maybe Microsoft was going to do it the right way by having their Azure servers be on all the time, for like every single member, because again, they know how many Xbox Live subscribers they have, so they can build their infrastructure around that number. It seems like to me like it would make more sense to scale down than it would be to try and scale up in a hurry. Like, so if you know that you're going to pre-order, you have 75 pre-orders, if you assume that are 75 million pre-orders, just throwing out a big ass number there. And you know that all those people are going to be trying to play your game, why not accommodate 80 million people? And then
sell your extra 100 servers to some weird Korean company who's doing an MMO once you realize you don't need those servers anymore.
Or turn them off. It's like, I just don't understand why in this, it's an online game and they had to have known, and I'm just getting kind of frustrated with it. But like I said, Rockstar doesn't seem to be getting the backlash that some other games would. And I think that's just because they built a great single player component to it.
I'd love to hear from an industry insider on what actually happened. Somebody who's willing to be honest about it. Like maybe just servers don't work like we think they do, and it's the volume that, maybe the infrastructure's there, but the volume is what fries them.
No, that's what it is. It's the traffic. It's 75. It's, in my analogy, it's 75 million people trying to hit something when they've only said, when their estimate said, only 30 million people are going to try and sign on. Like they had a number. Somebody somewhere in their company, some analyst said, and we can build our infrastructure based on 30 million people signing online at one time. Well, clearly 40 million people wanted to sign online, and now your servers are getting slammed and nobody can get in. And it's not even that those 30 million people that they planned for can get in, because the whole thing is just falling apart.
Because you have 40 million trying to get into a room for 30, and everybody's making each other not be able to get in, and
they're ruining the party for everybody. It's
those bastards.
It's not a bandwidth thing. It's not like, I have the fastest bandwidth, so I'm pushing everybody else out of the way. It literally is. You have to be able to accommodate that many people hitting a server or servers at one time, and no one's been able to get it right. And Blizzard didn't get it right with Diablo 3. SimCity or Maxis didn't get it right with SimCity, and now Rockstar didn't get it right with GTA. It's kind of like, is Microsoft going to get it right with the Xbox One? Is Sony going to get it right with the PlayStation 4? I doubt it. So, all right. That's my rant about servers and online games. Now, worst games we've ever played.
GTA Online.
I'm not ready to write it off yet.
I'm sorry, I haven't actually played it, so.
Yeah, so we had a conversation off before we started recording that you approach video games the way that I approach TV shows, is that you play a lot of games.
I give pretty much most things a fair shake. I'll be like, that looks interesting, and I'll try it out or whatever, and then I'll be like, whoa, massive pile of shit. So,
let's kind of work backwards here then. We'll start now and go back in time. What's some of the most recent, what's some of the bad games that you've played recently? Movie licenses aside.
Yeah, movie licenses, you can't count those because, oh my god.
So many terrible ones.
The fact with those that the few ones are so far in between. Few and far in between.
There's ones that are so especially bad, like Fantastic Four, where you couldn't
Never
actually
played that one, thank God.
Oh, the beautiful thing about that game, it was a 2-player game.
I don't know if I've ever played it.
It is so bad. And the only thing that makes it better was the fact that the scrapped there's 2 levels from the scrapped Fantastic Four game you can unlock at the end of it, and those were better than what they came up with. Because the 2 levels at the end were actually based off of a comic book Fantastic Four game that they completely stopped doing. So they put the first 2 levels as like bonus missions if you beat the game. And man,
So
was
it's like,
it
hey, beat
uh,
this poopy
struggle
game. Just
through
get these
this and we'll
two.
give you something good.
You've
The hard
made
part about
it.
this
Good job.
question is that if it's a bad game, I probably haven't played it.
That's
See,
what I'm
it's-
dealing with too.
And
It's
there's like
getting to that
hundreds
point
of
now
games I don't buy.
where, I mean, with everything's so expensive nowadays. When I was a kid, you find out how bad a game is a week before it comes out. Now, you find out, oh, this game is
Well,
just
see, I don't know.
horrible. There's no point.
Reviews to me are still so subjective. I mean, there are some where I will like certain critics. I will take their voice will have more weight over something because I've been following them for I don't know the last 6-7 years. So it's kind of like I have an idea of how their tastes are similar to mine. But it's like I don't put a whole lot of weight into a review. It's kind of like if I'm interested in trying a game, I'm gonna try a game.
Yeah.
But that said, there isn't a whole lot. I mean, I was kind of looking over some of the lists that we found online that people had put together of the worst games ever. And I haven't played very many of these, and part of it is it's just cost. I mean, games are expensive.
And it's not like I can go to my neighborhood Blockbuster and rent a game for a day now.
I think the worst game, the only thing that comes to mind when somebody says, "What's the worst game you've ever played?" and I can't even think of the name of it. Speaking of Blockbuster, my friend Jason and I rented the game from Blockbuster, and we brought it home, and we started up as a brand new game, and it was like a 2-player top down, like kind of like a dungeon crawler. It wasn't like a Dark
So wait,
Alliance
so
or
how
anything like
long
that.
ago are we talking?
This was like 2000. It was on the PS2.
Okay.
So like 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. And we brought it home, threw it in, and it asked you to choose your difficulty level. And so we're just kind of like, oh, we want to have some fun, so we put it on easy. And we went and did a mission, and we went and turned it back in, and then the credits started rolling. And this was in like within 30 minutes of getting the game back home. And I was we looked at each other, we're like, what was that?
That was easy.
Yeah. And it wasn't like it was like these are like opening production credits. No, this was like black screen credits scrolling up my TV. And I couldn't, it was weird because I didn't have a save file for the game. It wasn't like I loaded the game up and I was at the end of it. It's
You
not
sure
like
it wasn't DLC for Borderlands 2?
yeah. It's not like a cartridge game where you go and rent it and you have somebody's save file that you can piggyback off of. So it's just really weird. We went and took it back, and because we'd just been there 30 minutes earlier, they let us swap it out with a different game for free. So that was really nice of them.
Well,
because it's not their fault that the game was a piece of crap. I just wish I could remember what game it was. But yeah,
quick, call up the head of
what's-
Blockbuster and look through your history.
I wish I could still do that. But what are some like? What are some games like exceptionally bad games that you guys have played? Like I know that I've at least tried Superman 64.
What was this? Not Superman 64. There was a Superman game on the Xbox. It came out with
Superman Returns.
Was it just named Superman Returns?
No, I know which one you're talking about.
That was horrible.
I can see the
that
cover.
game was crappy. Oh my god.
Oh, the DC Superman one, the actual comic book.
Yeah,
one? That one was. Name a Superman game that's been good.
Well, how many straight up Superman games have there been?
All terrible.
Well, all terrible, yes, but I think that I like the idea that EA did with the Superman Returns game, which is because Superman is invulnerable. It was kind of like instead of giving him
the city.
Yeah, the health is the city instead of giving him a health bar. I thought that was an interesting idea.
Wow, if the health was the city in Man of Steel, he would have died real quick.
I was gonna say, well, that's what kind of always made me laugh about that game. It's like the health of the city. I'm like, have they seen any of the comics or any of the animated stuff? He flies through 17 buildings in every fight. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people, virtual people, die in those, and whenever he fights anyone. But it's okay because he saved the one lady pushing the baby across the street.
So yeah, Superman games generally bad. Like I said, I liked the idea of that one mechanic. I thought it was an interesting way to try and make a game around that character. Granted, again, it was a movie tie-in, so
yes. Let me see some ones that stand out in my mind. Army of Two 40th Day was pretty horrible.
The first one was horrible.
See, I had so much fun with the first one.
Ugh.
Good game in theory, but that needed a little help.
In the first one, they had the mechanic where it's like, oh, if this person's shooting, this one becomes invisible. Got it. I love that. And the second one's like, if this person keeps shooting for long enough, they can trigger overkill mode, and then nothing else matters. Both of you become unkillable slaughterhouses.
But isn't that what EA wants for all their games?
Yeah, apparently.
So,
see some other notable shitty ones.
Are we still staying current?
we can. Let's just start throwing games in.
What was that second Call of Juarez one? Devil's Cartel.
Devil's Cartel, yeah.
Yeah, that was. Oh my god, that was bad.
The first one was terrible too. I didn't like the first one at all.
Has anyone played Custer's Revenge?
No.
Wait,
played it?
are you wait? Are you talking about the really game?
Yeah, I'm just trying to save
it's
this.
isn't that?
It's hard to emulate because it was on an Atari analog system, so I haven't found an emulator for it yet. But someday I will have that game.
Games ever made, like on most lists.
Yes.
Okay.
E.T. got that award a couple years ago for being the worst game, and I have heard that E.T. is not nearly as bad a game as they make it out to be if you actually have and read the manual, that everything makes sense and it tells you how to get out of the hole and whatnot in the manual. And I bought the manual at the Geek Sale 2 years ago, and I haven't read it yet, but I have the game, the Atari, and the manual now, so I think I can try and make that game not horrible.
Yeah, we had this. I was telling Danner about this. You and I had a conversation about ET at a Geek Sale. And that how it may or may not have been one of the first video games to have contextual buttons.
Yep.
Depending on where the character was.
That contextual button.
Well, yes. The button did different things depending on where you were with the character.
Yep. Beyond that, some of the worst games that I had played are on the CDI. And I have not played the notorious Zelda games or the Mario games on it, although it's really easy to pirate those. They're just CD-ROMs, but I'll get around to that someday. I'd rather own the real things. But any of the other ones that I have tried on there are, it's like, it would be like trying to control a modern game with your DVD remote. The controllers are just not made for video games, and beyond the games aren't well made to begin with. They're old, dated, slow, not tightly controlled at all, and then they give you this 3-pound penis to control the characters with. It just does not work.
Some of us are used to having to control 3-pound penis. That's all I'm saying.
Oops, I left myself open for that.
He leaves himself open for a lot of different things.
Okay, wait a minute. No, I didn't play this one. I'm sorry. I thought the Leisure Suit Larry that was on this list, I thought maybe I had played this one because
it's the newest one.
Isn't that the one where they try to make it what everybody thinks Leisure Suit Larry was?
Pretty much, because everybody kind of forgot what it was in its heyday.
The last one I played was in 2004. What was it, like the box? It was like he goes to college or something like that.
Summa cum laude.
Yes. I actually had a lot of fun just playing all the different little mini games in it.
I remember playing Leisure Suit Larry 2 back in 97.
Yeah, I remember.
Or 96. I don't remember those games, like the older ones on PC?
In 96. I was 9.
You're dumb. You know that? You're real dumb. And your face is stupid too.
You're a whole world of dumb.
Your whole world
Maybe,
is dumb.
but it's a younger face than yours.
You know what? I'm fine with that because at least my older face isn't dumb as your young face is.
Oh.
My memory of Leisure Suit Larry is watching my mom's boss. We were friends with their family. We went over to his house and he showed me Leisure Suit Larry. And as he logged into it, the age verification was a 3-question quiz that involved pop culture references from like the 50s and 60s. Or 70s. And so and he just giggled when he read the question. I had no idea what the answer was. He typed it right in laughing about the question that they were asking him.
So
that
this
was
is
kind of
before
clever.
Google, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those older games used to be great. The newer ones don't quite capture the magic.
You know, does anyone remember a game? I think it came pre-installed on some computers in the 90s. At least it did on the computer that my parents bought. It was called Mega Race.
Mega Race.
Mega Race.
Yeah.
Oh man, the guy that had like the max headroom.
Was super shitty and it was so bad it was good.
I actually had a lot of fun playing it. I think Jason actually has a copy of it because
I played it the crap. I can almost guarantee I have a copy of it sitting in my basement.
I really like that game.
I just remember playing it so much because it was like the first PC game. Like when I got my gateway computer before I went to college, I think it was included with it. That was like the first game I had for that. And driving around and playing it, and then accidentally discovering that there was a weapons button in the game, which I had no idea. I had been playing it for like a week, and I had no idea there was weapons.
You've been playing it as a straight up racer?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys are shooting
what does
bombs
everybody
at me.
else get to shoot? That's not fair. That's not cool.
Oh,
then I accidentally hit the weapons button. And I was like, oh, I'm just real dumb when it comes to playing computer games.
Oh man, there is another.
Thus began Danner's hatred of racing games.
There is another game that I played about the same time as that. It was called. It's actually on the PlayStation Network now. It was actually on the PlayStation 1 as well. But you were flying around on a magic carpet, and you had it's like a first person. You're flying around on a magic carpet. It's actually called Magic Carpet.
Shocking.
Ooh, creative name.
I wonder what it means in depth.
But you fly around, and you couldn't even see what was going on in the world, but you just shot things with like a fireball or some orb or something, and it was the draw distance in the game was like 5 feet in front of your character before it turned to fog. So you couldn't see what you were doing at all. But I remember playing a lot of that too.
I remember playing the original Driver and thinking it was amazing, but oh my god, was that game horrible.
No.
Oh my god, that game had some of the worst glitches.
I like Driver.
Oh, it was totally fun, but like if any game I own now glitched as much as that game did then, I would probably throw my Xbox out the window.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I don't know how many times I would hit an incline in the road going so fast that I would in fact go through the road and be underneath on like an invisible world looking up at the road above me.
I would like to see a Stuntman. Did anyone play Stuntman?
A little. I never owned it though.
I think I played the demo of it way back in the day.
I played I didn't play the current gen version of it. I played the PlayStation 2 version. I actually still own it. I can give it to you for your library if you want, Joe.
All right.
It was made by the guys that made Driver, so the controls were pretty similar. The only difference is you were a stuntman in movies, and you had to do you had to do like car chases, but every once in a while you're doing like your chase or you were driving, it'd be like, you have to scrape against this trash can here, or you have to do this type of slide around this corner.
It would be the director would give you things he wanted you to do. Like, oh, you need to get up on two wheels for at least 30 seconds
Yeah.
or whatever.
And then at the end of it, when you were done with that stage, you got to watch a trailer for the movie with your driving scenes cut into it. Which was just really neat. I got to the James Bond one before I gave up. I think it was like the second to last mission. I was just like, I couldn't get the car to do what I wanted to do. I was like, this just got stupid.
Not to jump here for a second, but this reminded me. I know you haven't gotten this far, but Joe, have you gotten to the Franklin mission with the James Bond car?
No.
Oh my God, it's so good, so good. You get to drive the iconic Sean Connery James Bond car for one mission. Yes, complete with spy gadgets. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
Pardon me, game. I'm gonna not complete this mission and park it in my garage.
It was one of those ones. I hope there's somehow you get that car.
Do you know the name of the car?
It's an Aston Martin something. I'm not sure.
No,
But
it's a game.
It'd be a fake Aston Martin in the game.
You can't. Yeah, it's only in that part. You have to go. The whole mission is to steal this guy's car.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, because there's I think I mentioned this on the last episode. There is a car that people keep tweeting about, that they keep asking, where do I find this car? And that's why I was wondering if you actually knew the name of the car that you boosted.
I could not remember.
So,
I'm sure it's some name that reminisces. It might have been like a super spy car or something. I don't know. It probably had some throwback to James Bond.
All right, let's go around here real quick, and then we'll wrap this conversation up. Joe, what's the worst game you've ever played?
Oh God.
In your opinion,
I don't play crappy games. I
Okay,
honestly, I
all right.
thought about this. I don't
So-
have an answer.
well, okay. Well, what's the worst of the best games that you've played? They can't all be number one.
I was going to say,
No.
for as much hate as you have for everything, I thought this would be easy
Is
for
it
you.
Assassin's Creed 3?
No, because I'd still rather play that than any of the Call of Duties.
Come on, there's got to be something.
I'd have to look at a list. There's just too much. That's what it really is. There's too much hate. I mean, if I don't own it, chances are I probably hate it. I mean, that's really the truth. So you could list any game that I don't own. Battlefield 3. I hate that game. I really do.
You
That
shut
is-
your mouth.
That is just one of the worst games I've ever played, and I mean it.
Oh, Sean's going to go cry now.
I'm not gonna go cry. I'm just gonna start crying. I don't have to go anywhere.
And then he's going
I'm
to
waiting.
polish
That one's
himself
on
off
my
after the
tongue 'cause it's on the-
podcast.
It's
And then I'm
right
gonna do
there on
what?
the way.
So you're going to start crying on the podcast, and then you're going to go polish yourself off afterwards with your tears.
Again,
Makes-
not
makes
afterwards.
for good lube.
During.
The lap dance is always better when the stripper's crying.
Oh God, I love that song.
That's like natural lube right there.
All right, Daniel, you've been kind of quiet. What's your worst game that you've ever played?
There's so many. Where to start? Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Are you just trying to
No,
start a flame war?
I'm really just starting. No, I have no love for that game to start off with because I think it's incredibly overrated. Fester's Quest back on the Nintendo. That
Never
game's
played
pretty terrible. Has anybody here played the original Metal Gear?
Yes.
Think the original Metal Gear, but you set it in the world of the Addams Family, and instead of playing as Snake, you play as Uncle Fester.
Do you hide in boxes?
Pretty much. You go around a neighborhood hiding in trash cans.
It works.
It's pretty god awful.
Um,
Which, amazingly enough, there being a god awful Nintendo game back in the quality seal era days, it's kind of impressive. Or we could pick on Back to the Future, the video game, which had absolutely nothing to do with Back to the Future the movie at all.
There wasn't even time travel in it.
Marty,
All
come
you
quick.
did-
Your game is a piece of shit.
It was a hoverboard simulator.
Yep.
All right,
It was
Seansie.
terrible.
Not including licensed games.
Anything. Just what's your
Terminator Salvation, easily the worst game I've ever played. Easily the worst game I've ever played. The funniest thing is you had to use different weapons on different guys. So it made certain weapons later in the game, the weapons it would give you, completely worthless. Be like, oh, quick, take this assault rifle. Oh, you mean the assault rifle that doesn't work against these guys? Thank you. Oh, you didn't save that gun from 3 missions ago? Well, you're screwed then. Oh yeah, and it's bad. That one is because a lot of people hated that movie. I enjoyed that movie. So as soon as I saw the game, like, oh, sweet, this will be cool, right?
Wait. You actually saw a movie licensed game and go, oh wait, this is gonna be cool.
In my head, you ever go into an arcade recently and they have the Terminator Salvation like first person?
I'm sorry, this goes all the
light
way back.
guns?
This all goes back to the whole, mentally deficient thing from last week. This I'm seeing it right now. You are mentally deficient.
I'm flame retardant, I believe. So,
you, sir, do not have the ability to catch fire.
You are flamed something.
Yeah, very flaming.
Ho mo.
Zingers, my sides, they're splitting. But yeah, that's that's a game that nothing could persuade me to ever touch that game ever again the rest of my life.
Nothing could persuade me to touch most anything that goes based off of the popular movie.
Enter the Matrix was pretty terrible.
Enter the Matrix had the worst driving levels on a game I had ever seen. And by the last level, when the last level came up, it's like they just fucking gave up. They were like, nah, graphics.
Enter the Matrix was fun if you put in all the cheat codes. Then it was really fun. You just jumped around bullet time.
You know what other game was super terrible? Saints Row 4.
You're so funny.
Worst game ever.
It's fine because really the only person that's played it is Seansie. So
yeah, so who cares about that guy? He's a douchebag.
Yeah,
it's got to be bad if he played it.
Yeah.
By that logic, your mothers would all be bad too. What?
My mom is evil.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Sorry, was it the pity hour already? I didn't realize.
Trying to think of what.
Hi, this is the self-loathing hour with Mike Powers. I'm going to talk about how much everything's terrible.
Get a free box of razor blades.
Actually, if I was going to do that, it would have been
Seansie's
last week.
standing by to take your orders.
Actually, if I was going to do the self-loathing thing or something like that, it would have been last week when I found out that most of my Legos had been destroyed.
Oh my god. Are we still on this? It sucks. Don't get me wrong. Sucks
what
hardcore.
Happened?
That's why Mike was drunk last week.
I have over my I had my parents asked me, or they let me put my Legos over all my Star Wars Legos and stuff like that in their basement, and they were like, we'll keep the kids away from them, blah 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 blah. Well, every once in a while, I'd go over there and I'd go down the basement and I'd look at them, and some of them would be moved around, or like a piece would be kind of like the set would be broken, and I would just put it back together, and whatever, no big deal. This last time I went over there last Wednesday, and I went downstairs and they weren't broken, they were completely gone. My brother had like smuggled some out of the basement and taken them outside and like tried to put them back, and I was actually able to there's 4 sets still downstairs that I did not either bring to my house or take for the geek sale, and they were like the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wing, the Imperial shuttle, the Tidarium shuttle, and Boba Fett's Slave 1 were the 4 sets that were left down in the basement. I was able to, for the most part, I was able to get the Millennium Falcon back together because it was the largest one. It was probably the hardest one for him to like get out of the house.
Shove it down his pants.
yeah.
That's how I smuggle everything everywhere. Even if I'm not smuggling it, that's just how I carry things.
The Tidarium
Book
shuttle.
bag in my pants.
It makes getting takeout really uncomfortable.
Ooh, I could just imagine. Yeah, Chinese food up in there, stuck in the hair, and
Yeah.
yeah, especially
The hair?
sweet and sour sauce. Ugh.
Sweet and no, you keep the sour.
Stop
the sweet
it,
and
I'm
sour
hungry.
Well, and especially because of the
Joe,
fact that,
Jesus.
especially because of the fact that we already know that most of everything that Sean probably gets from a Chinese restaurant is probably covered in the cream of Sangyang Gai, and is just all over the place.
I add that at my home. Thank you.
Oh, all over your face as we speak.
All
You
right.
walk around like a glazed donut.
Your mom doesn't seem to mind when I.
All right, guys. Okay. We're gonna take a break. Danner's gonna read us another ad, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the show, and we'll have some questions for y'all. So we'll be back in a minute.
The Pullbag is GCRN's comic book review and discussion-based podcast. Join your host, TFG1 Mike, and the rest of the GCRN crew as we make our way through the comics we are reading. Inside the Pullbag, you'll also find back-issue classic episodes and origins of how we got into comic reading. You can find the Pullbag on iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com. Make your great escape into comics and jump into the Pullbag today.
Wow, 2 for 2.
Way to go, one take, Danner.
Yeah.
So
that's got to be a better nickname than your wife calling you the one-shot wonder, huh?
Hey, I got
The
at least
three-pump
3
chump.
shots.
yeah, it's been confirmed. Danner's had sex at least 3 times.
Yes. He's batting 3 for 3.
I'm like the bullseye of sex. I never miss.
I had answers to that answers to the horrible video game question, and I had a listener question, but God, I need to write them down now. I've forgotten it.
All right, who's got a question?
I'm thinking.
Don't everyone go at once.
All right, I got one. All right.
Oh, Sean's the first one to the party for once?
Screw you.
Okay. Not in your best day, little boy.
You couldn't handle me on my best day, little man.
Dang. Them's fighting words.
Come over here and say that, New Yorker.
New Yorker? I'm sorry I'm not from Michigan. I don't have pop over here.
Soda?
Soda pop?
Soda pop.
Okay, stop. You're going to make me forget. Okay.
Then I'm going to start calling you Joe.
What is for the listeners? What is that one game? No matter how old and how outdated it gets, you still love playing, even though it's on a system that's crazy outdated. The graphics look horrible. The gameplay is, not as good compared to games nowadays. But what is that game? No matter what happens, you will always love that game. Love playing it.
Ooh, I got 2 of those.
Yeah, they're called your nuts.
Oh,
and they're really old and outdated.
Piece of shit.
Dan, did you think of a question yet?
Yes.
I don't know. His was actually really good.
See, I'm not stupid all the time, just majority.
That was your one for the year.
Yeah.
Everyone gets one.
Hey, the year is going to end here in a few months, so I wait till the very end.
We'll have to wait till the death rattle of the year before we get the next one.
I think Joe said he had a question, so before he forgets it.
Here,
yeah, because I did, but then I remembered it again. All right. So if you had somebody who has never played video games in their lives before, but is that 20 to 30 to 40 something age group, what is the first relatively current gen game that you would use to introduce them to the world of video games? And I asked this question on the basis of things like, we've all grown up playing Legend of Zelda, for instance, from the beginning. We know that get the treasure in the dungeon, use the treasure to kill the boss. There are design principles that we all know and are born with, but what do you use to teach people now those video game conventions that we all take for granted?
That is a good question.
That is a good question. And I actually am wondering, I don't know if you've seen this or if Danner has seen this, but the Link to the Past sequel, A Link Between Worlds. Have you guys seen or heard how they're changing things up?
Yes, I just heard that article
I read
today.
the first, couple
No,
of
I
paragraphs.
have no idea. It's not something I follow, so I'm an interested reader. Tell me.
My understanding is they're just going to allow you to tackle anything in any order.
Oh, so it's basically
you
an
can-
open world. I can go to the final dungeon if I want.
And you can rent items. That's one of the headlines that I saw.
I hope that's not with real money. I hope it's in-game money.
microtransactions. I can see it now.
I'm expecting microtransactions for some reason.
Oh, Nintendo.
I'm waiting to see that creep into, next gen so much. I think it's going to be. I mean, there's little things now. They're not really so much microtransactions, but in-game purchases. But I'm waiting to see microtransaction how successful it's been in other medium.
Yeah,
Move into actual console gaming.
I guess I'm going to go ahead and add that as my question.
What's
No, like what do the listeners think of microtransactions? Do you partake in them? Do you steer clear of them? Are you like
Morally opposed?
Yeah, like are you morally opposed to them? I mean, we've talked about them here and there on.
Does your religion not allow you to use them?
We've talked about microtransactions here and there with games like War Thunder and Simpsons Tapped Out. Actually, is a microtransaction based game too. If you
never used microtransaction in that game. So
I believe Danner has.
I have.
Yeah, how much? Because I see your city, and there's no way you play that game legit and get that stuff.
$3, $4, $4, $3, maybe $4.
So
yeah, 7 times.
I'm pretty sure
I need to get donuts in order to get Bumblebee Man.
So I think it's something that we're gonna cover a little more here coming up, especially with the number of free to play games available on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Also, what is it? Grand Theft Auto Online also actually has microtransactions in it. So yes, it does.
Have they not come on yet? I haven't noticed any.
No, they're there. They're like
we haven't noticed any because you're not playing the game yet.
Yeah, you buy. It's to actually buy in-game currency. It's not. You're not buying items. You don't pay.
Okay, that makes sense because I've heard that in order to actually plan heists in it, you have to be able to have your own apartment to actually plan them, to have the board in. And you have to have a nice enough apartment, and you need enough money to get that apartment. So
I think it's
I'm guessing that's the shortcut.
I think the math comes out to be like $1 gets you $100,000 in game or something like that.
So if I spend $100, I'll be rich, and I won't have to play the game.
So, but obviously, like every other microtransaction based game, you are you can play the game legit and whatnot. So, and I think this is kind of how they are planning to keep Grand Theft Auto Online free. Because they keep, they've said they plan on supporting it and adding content to it. So I think the microtransaction
we'll see how that goes.
How it goes.
But I can't wait till everybody gets a PS4 and gets off my servers so I can go online with that
game. Start playing other things so I can play this.
What are your opinions, thoughts and opinions, feelings, whatnot about microtransactions in crossing over into mainstream games? Danner, you're the only one that doesn't have one.
No question, Danner?
I got one now.
Oh, okay. And it's gone.
Oh, stop. With comic book games being few and far between, and us finally getting a Deadpool game, what obscure superhero or supervillain would you like to see get their own video game? What would get you to go out and buy, that game? What obscure character? Would it be like a Squirrel Girl game or Ragman?
Rocket Raccoon?
That could
Guardians
happen.
Of
the Galaxy?
Oh, you're getting a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Happen.
So what
We didn't get an Avengers
obscure
game.
comic book character game that's not based off of a movie would you be interested in?
Ant-Man. It's basically just like Pikmin.
I was gonna say do Ant-Man, but make it exactly like Chibi Robo.
All right. So on that note, if you listen to us on iTunes, if you could head on over to us in iTunes, just search for GeekCast, not GeekCast Radio. Just search for Off the Cuff, and leave us a review over there. That would be awesome. That way we know how other people can see how either really good or really bad we're doing. That's about all I have to say as far as that goes.
I'm gonna go leave a negative review right now.
The 7th gen console nominees are still, being tabulated. We're still taking those. There's actually going to be an official post by itself on the website instead of just being embedded in an episode. So that might make it easier for some people to get us their answers. But yeah, if you want to answer any of the questions we just asked, or you just want to talk with us, you can get in touch with us and comment on our parent site at geekcastradio.com, or send emails to us at feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can find myself, Michael Powers, on Twitter, and the PlayStation Network at BoothNinja81. Danner?
You can find me on Twitter at Art Danner, or on the PlayStation Network at X51 the Machine Man.
Seansie?
I've been Seansie Brown. You can find me on Twitter at Seansie Brown. You can find me on Xbox Live at Weapon87. You can find me on Xbox, the Xbox version of Los Santos, as Seansie, because they wouldn't let me do Seansie Brown because it was one letter too long.
Wait, there's a different name?
Bullshit. You select the name for your character.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I couldn't do Seansie Brown. It was one letter too long.
Oh.
Bullshit. And I was like,
I hope I can change that name. I just did a username.
I was like, oh, maybe I could change Seansie to Y instead of IE. I'm like, no, that is not Seansie Brown then.
You could just done BRWN.
No, that's
okay.
Bullshit. So I just did Seansie.
Joe?
I have been Joe Reed. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Reed Geek, and on PlayStation Network at Viva Wildfire 405. And I'm sure I'm on that GTA somewhere, but I need to figure out how to use the thing before
His
I know.
name is username 1.
Nice.
Please tweet me. I don't know if I've received tweets yet. Of course, I don't know how to check.
He doesn't know what they are
I've tweeted
called,
at
barely.
you. I've asked you specifically why you haven't started following me, and go ask your wife how to use Twitter.
Yep. He has.
Press the little bird with the plus symbol, Joe. It's not that hard.
All right.
I don't have a bird with a plus symbol.
Oh my god.
He's not even on Twitter.
How is he even tweeting?
He's
He
just
doesn't have a
typing it into
smartphone.
a Mac.
But is he like, who goes
It's
onto
a-
their computer and goes to Twitter? That's weird.
He's got an Apple II, and he just keeps typing at Joe Reed Geek, and nothing happens.
What he does is he goes to the local park, and every time the businessman looks away, he types on his iPad for 2 seconds.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Until next week, now you're playing with power.